This is a regular meeting agenda of the governing body of the Borough of Bloomingdale, Tuesday, May 16, 2023 at 7:01. I call the meeting to order by the salute to the flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor John D'Amato,
Here.
Councilman Catalano,
Here.
Councilman Delarippo,
Here.
Councilman Graziano,
Here.
Councilwoman Hudson,
Here.
Councilwoman Schubert,
Here.
Councilman Yazdi,
Here. Okay. We also have with us our Deputy Clerk, Terry Sauer, Administrative Assistant, Amy Greenspan, Business Administrator, Michael Sondermeyer, and Borough Attorney, Fred Samaro.
John?
And also our CFO, Donald Molyneux. And Jasmine's here. Okay. This meeting is called to pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. Adequate notice of this meeting was advertised in the Herald News on January 9th, 2023. Copies were provided to the local news media and posted continuously in the municipal building. A copy of this notice is available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. As per state fire code, I am required to acknowledge that there are two emergency exits in this council chambers. The main entrance which you enter through and a secondary exit to the left of where I am seated. If there is an emergency, walk orderly to the exits, exit through the door, down the stairs and out the building. If there's any questions, please raise your hand. Okay. Seeing none, we do have one non-agenda item, which is a resolution for us to be able to collect our uncollected taxes. It's a general form that we have to do per the state. Okay. Can I have a motion up early public comment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak, please come up. Dawn and Ray.
Rich, would you mind? I can't hear.
Yeah, I know.
Would you mind turning the fan?
Unless,
Go ahead.
Linda Huntley, 86.
Very good.
Okay, what I'm asking about, first of all, is the purchase of these 3 new trucks. I'm guessing none of them are wheel cabs anymore.
no,
And next question is, how come in March, you purchased a Suburban for DPW? And why didn't you just purchase the truck at that point, one of them?
These trucks were not available. These were on the budget for last year, and we could not find these trucks. And they're available at the lot now, so that's why we're jumping on them at this point. We did the same thing last year. It was a Suburban, it was a Tahoe and a Explorer. Was the one the last one we bought last year. Same thing.
You put it for this year. Well,
Yeah, same thing. So 18 months out, any truck.
how many more trucks are you gonna buy?
We have a lease program that we were going to do with Enterprise. The governing body was going to do with Enterprise about a year and a half ago. We decided not to. It was too costly. We're going to do it in-house. So as vehicles come up, we're going to take them on and do the program ourselves in-house.
So how many more vehicles are you planning on purchasing this year?
This year, I don't think
So this would be fine?
Hold on.
as not just to
Hold on,
replace.
just one second. Okay. We're buying, I think, 2 vehicles,
Three.
right? 3 vehicles for the DPW. One is completely out of service. It's unsafe for one of our employees to drive. The 2 other ones are going to replace 2 other vehicles who are on the verge of going out of, that are going to be unsafe, all right? They've outworn their welcome. The new program, the lease program we're doing is we're not going to bond any more money to buy pickup trucks and small vehicles. We're doing a lease program where we're budgeting in the budget every year, X amount of hundreds of thousands of dollars to purchase them through our own lease program And as they get older, about 10 years for a vehicle, they'll already be paid for. So we're not going to keep paying for vehicles when they're not here. All right, so now we're getting on the program, just like the police have done, there's a police vehicle in here, okay? Usually it's 2-in-1. That's the way they budget, Joey budget his, the chief budgeted his every year. This year, he's on the 2-car program, all right? Right now, one, which is in,
Pursuit vehicle.
a pursuit vehicle, I forgot what it's,
It's an Explorer.
Explorer, okay, that's on the lot, which we found. When these vehicles come available, the dealership contacts Frank, who handles the fleet. He comes to Mike and says, we can get these vehicles, what do you think? Mike goes over and makes sure that with Donna, that the money is there, and this money is, for these vehicles, is, I believe, from last year.
Correct.
All right, so it's not new money. We already planned for this in last year's budget, so it's encumbered.
Yep.
Okay, so that's this year's three vehicles, for vehicles that are gonna go completely out of service, and we're gonna get rid of them. Okay, so and we're budgeting again this year, every year we're replacing vehicles on a 10-year program. About, okay, so
Currently, the vehicles that we're getting rid of right now are not in this vehicle.
15 years. But we want to get to the point where the vehicles are coming in when we need them. This way our vehicles can stay on the road and do their job versus doubling up and putting vehicles out of service that we've done in the past. And if you go down, anybody who wants to go down and look at them, these vehicles are junk. So they're going to be replaced.
Okay, now, the Suburban that we got, was that last year's budget or is that this year's?
The Explorer,
Are you talking about the Explorer or the Tahoe?
the Tahoe's 2 years ago,
Tahoe is from 2021.
March, that March.
That was from 2022 budget. Everything we bought up to this point,
is last year's.
even the 3 new F-350s are coming out of 2022,
Lease line.
lease program.
Is that 100 something?
So we did $110,000
That was for the budget that year.
for that.
That is what I was budgeting,
That's all in the budget, correct.
we already spent 2% more.
We have not yet, we will once we are done with the three.
These three
current
vehicles,
years.
the 3 vehicles coming. We budgeted for this X amount of thousands per vehicle, and we're leasing it to ourselves.
The difference is we're, instead of going out for capital and paying it over
30 years.
We're putting it in a lease program and paying it, yeah.
I've done a
Each
lease.
vehicle will be
Yeah.
paid for in 5 years, and then we don't know anything on it. Instead of a 30.
Why does still insure?
$281,000.
It's full price.
Yeah, we're leasing them, so we don't pay that each year.
We're not releasing them, so we authorize the purchase, and the financing agreement, so it's a 5-year lease. So it's not 100,000 this year's. Excuse me?
15,000 per truck,
Yeah,
roughly
depends on-
16,000.
anywhere, yeah, depends on the truck.
And at the end of the lease, we own them, we're not giving them back. So that's the whole gist of this, so we don't pay it over 30-year period. It's just smart budgeting, long-term, because we're not borrowing money that on vehicles that are no longer here and keep paying that over the remainder 20 years. Make sense?
I know you made a comment that also is not correct, that you can buy as many as you can afford. I mean, why do you buy as many as you can afford? You don't buy as many.
When it's, right, when you afford, when things are after life, and we have to look at a lease, right now it's 15,000, 16,000, we gave you a number. Next year, it's going to be at 20,000 at least, the same vehicle, depends on what's going on. Next year, we might, on our paper, might show we need 8 vehicles. We might only be able to afford 6 with the number we put in there for the lease program.
Okay, so on
And
paper,
vice versa.
how many are you budgeting or expecting to purchase this year?
Think of it, 4 or 5 trucks like that, but
So currently for this year, we have budgeted for 2 police cars and 7, DPW. For 2023.
So last year you got, I guess, 3 or 4,
What?
and this year we're going to need that
So
7.
we brought in last year, I believe it was last year, last year, the year before, we brought in enterprise team. They came in, they told us exactly what they expected us to do. We had already done that. When we compared apples to apples, we went with the program that
the committee had already put forward and brought it down. Their initial numbers were, first year was almost $150,000 that we had put into to replace the vehicles that they expected to break down and not be serviceable anymore. The second year was over $280,000. We're going at somewhere around $200,000. By next year, they told us that we needed to budget for $400,000, and I'm sure we'll be somewhere around $300,000 next year. And so we've been, by doing it in-house, we've been saving roughly about somewhere between $50,000 to $100,000 by keeping it in-house. This is a program that Enterprise told us these vehicles are bottom line, shouldn't even be driving. I brought the governing body and last year, and we looked at multiple vehicles, at least 7 that should have been replaced last year, and we couldn't physically get the vehicles in. Right now, we are anywhere from 12 to 18 months on getting vehicles. We're looking at a police car right now, that if we order it now, we won't see it tonight.
Okay, how many vehicles do we have in DPW?
The DPW should have roughly 30 vehicles for everything we do.
Now, this is the whole fleet.
The whole
Okay,
DPW
this-
fleet, between garbage trucks, pickup trucks, mason trucks,
Street sweepers.
street sweepers, I'm there every day, if you want to come down, I can show you around. I'll give you my card.
The whole point of this is,
I can go down there and look.
yeah, just long-term, as Mike said. Like, we went to Enterprise, we thought that was gonna be a really good deal. Then we sat back and looked at it and ran the numbers, it didn't make sense. We figured we can do this in the finance, and that we can do this ourselves. We can be the lease company to save ourselves money. In long-term, when you go out and buy these vehicles that we have, our maintenance costs drop. I mean, we go out and repair a mason dump, and we have to get parts, the thing is 15 years old, and then we repair it, and we're not getting anything out of it, no value. Keep doing that, keep spending that kind of money. But if you have a new vehicles and they're going on a regular schedule as we are now, with all the police going through a maintenance program, they will last longer. And that's the whole purpose of this. And we do not want to take our small vehicles, and I say small pickup trucks, possibly mason dump, not garbage trucks. We do not want to go out and borrow money for 30 years and get rid of it in 10 and keep paying it off. That's
You
just,
shouldn't be borrowing it.
right.
It's the longest
So if we
time.
can figure it into our budget and do things the way we want to do it, we might not be able to buy 5 or 6. It all depends on what they cost at that time. But we are going to keep replacing vehicle as needed, so our guys can keep working, and we can lower the cost of maintenance and going out and spending $70,000, $80,000 on a vehicle. And at the end, after 5 years, that truck will be ours paid for, and then we continue that maintenance program, and then when that one's due to be gone, we have a plan to replace that.
As well as to sell that.
Right.
And the big thing on it is just, I don't want to say the more trucks we get in there, but the better the schedule we get on, if we can start selling these vehicles on gov deals earlier than the 15 years with no roofs and no bodies left.
Yes,
to it.
right.
We'll get more money.
When they explained this to us, what caught my attention is that now it's a depreciable asset. When vehicles are getting bonded, you have that loan for the life of 30-plus years, and no matter at what point, you still had a value to pay off against it. Now, 5 years in, you now have an asset that has value that you can then move forward towards either a vehicle.
In 5 years, I hope not.
In 5 years, we'll own the vehicles.
Right, and they'll still have value too. In a 10-year period, and we're just really following the program that was kind
Did you get a schedule for this?
they do.
I did.
I can open that schedule, correct?
Excuse me? You could,
I can open that schedule.
Without the VIN numbers.
without the VIN numbers, okay.
Good, all right?
Yeah, without the VIN numbers, though.
Well, all right.
Yeah.
I'm not checking the truth, not stolen, but that's okay.
That's how we're getting it so cheap. Okay. Anyone else? Seeing no one, a motion to close.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Del Ripa, yes. Okay, report of committee. Evie, you're up.
For BBYC, they are, they're still signing people up. They're gonna be at the Sloan Park, Festival on June,
Right.
9th. and they're looking for junior level coaches. And they're also advertising several clinics. One is in Oakland at $125. One is at the Paul High School for $199, and Clifton also has one as well. The town cleanup is this the 20th.
Yeah, that's this Saturday at 10 a.m.
Saturday. Yeah. And the on the 18th, the Queen's Tea, the library trustees, they are having their Queen's Tea Thursday, May 18th. I believe there are still tickets available to that. And they're also going to be at Sloan Park Festival as well. And they are and also the Triborough, they are having their dueling pianos on September 22nd. They haven't come up with their flyer yet, but they are working on that.
Yeah, that's Triborough First Aid Squad,
Triborough First Aid Squad.
September 22nd.
It's on a Friday. Yeah.
And just for notation, the BBYC that's looking for coaches, they must be Rutgers certified. I saw that on
Rutgers
there.
certified and clean background
And I believe they got to be fingerprinted and all that. Okay. What else?
Right?
Looking at this one.
I'm gonna tack on to EV's cleanup day. Any organizations can still contact, I'm sorry,
Riverton.
Town and River Cleanup Day, I'm sorry. Organizations can still sign up. You can email me at dhudson@bloomingdalenj.net. We not only encourage organizations, but we are encouraging families, single people, it doesn't matter. Everyone is welcome. We have Memorial Day Parade on May 29th, that's 9 a.m. That's going to be starting in Butler and coming to Bloomingdale. The townwide garage sale is June 3rd. The rain date is June 4th. Folks can contact Terry at tsauer@bloomingdalenj.net if they're interested in signing up for that. And John, I'll let you talk about the Sloan Park Festival. I have not discussed COVID-19 vaccines in a while. I know a lot of people are not able now to get some of the free testing kits. The county is still offering free testing kits, and they are offering the COVID-19 shots. The bivalent, which is the original, and the Omicron BA4 and BA5, that has to be at least 2 months apart from your last COVID-19 vaccine. And you can go onto Passaic County's website, PassaiCCountyNJ.org, and they are asking that you request an appointment for that. I also did want to discuss one thing today. You know, some of us have been up here a long time, and I know over the years, many of us have always encouraged the residents to come here and ask questions if they have questions. What I dislike is when people are posting things on public forums that are incredibly incorrect. And when you defame this council is terrible and inexcusable. So I will say it again. If anyone has a question about anything that's going on in this town, they are welcome to come to a council meeting. They are welcome to contact the mayor, our borough administrator, any of the council folks. We're all here to answer questions. And if we don't have an answer to that question, we will lead you in the direction of someone that can answer that question.
All of our information is on our website, bloomingdalenj.net, and our emails are on there. If you want a phone number, mine is readily available. You can contact our mayor, our borough administrator, and my phone number, anybody can have. But again, please do not post incorrect information on a public forum, and do not defame a single member of this council, because it is not deserved. That's it.
John?
Just to touch back on the Sloan Park Festival, so I mentioned June 9th. People generally get there around 5 o'clock, vendors set up around 3:30. But the band generally starts to play around 6 o'clock. So it should be another good evening. It's a full packed park in terms of vendors and different food that's going to be available. A new band, I don't recall the name of it unfortunately, but I'm pretty excited about this one. So I hope we can see everybody there. It should be a really good turnout and a really nice evening. And that's all.
Okay. Anyone else?
Hilltop Terrace is ongoing, the project up there with the DOT grant. The tennis courts are starting very soon. I saw mobilization has begun up there this week. We'll be starting the process to start looking for DPW budgeted seasonal help. Anybody knows any applicants, college kids coming home for the summer that want to work for 10 weeks, please let me know, and we'll get the applications out to them. I'd like to, on the consent agenda, I see we have a couple of people that are leaving a couple of commissions. I just want to thank those volunteers for volunteering the X amount of years that they have. We can't do this without them. And on a lighter side, I just want to congratulate Bree and Steve, our municipal clerk, and our sergeant in the fire department. They had a little baby girl, Shay Lynn, on the 12th of this month.
Congratulations. And she's beautiful. Bree sent me a picture today. She's absolutely gorgeous. Okay. Beth?
I don't have anything this evening, thank you, Mayor.
You guys pretty much covered everything, or Mike covered everything I would do. I just want to give my condolences to the Dale family. Lenny Dale has passed away. Nancy Dale's husband. So our sympathy goes out to them. Okay, resolution 2023 5.6 consent agenda. Have a motion for the consent agenda.
Second.
Martin, any questions? Roll call, please.
Calzada,
Yes.
Delariva,
Yes.
Graziano,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Schubert,
Yes.
Yazdi,
Yes.
Okay, item number 9, 2023 municipal budget. Okay, we're going to have a presentation by our CFO, Donna, and the public hearing will start. Harry? You have to read.
Because after the presentation.
Yeah, okay, we'll go after, we'll do after, yes. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Oh, you didn't need that?
You have to remote. Which?
What?
The remote on your television.
Yeah, it's behind that.
Shoot the other way, perfect. Yeah. Yeah, put it back so you can see what the screen is. Thank you, everybody, for having us tonight, and I'd like to thank the Budget Committee for working on this year's budget. What was presented for introduction at the meeting 4 weeks ago, we're just going to go over some highlights tonight, and then we'll open it up for public comment if anybody has any questions. Okay. I'm going to start with the appropriations. What you're seeing here is the graph on how the appropriations have increased. I want to mention for 2023, while the budget from introduced 22 to 23 went up about $750,000, $682,000 of that is the shared services. So that's important to note because it's not taxes that went up, it's the revenue from the shared services, which is about 90% of the increase in this year's budget, our shared services. Some of the expenditures that have increased or changed, you're looking at some new hires, especially tied to the shared services. You're looking at an increase in insurance and an increase in our statutory expenditures. Statutory is our pensions and our health benefits and things like that, that we don't have a complete or full control over the way we do with other expenses and our salary and wages. I don't know if you're all aware, but this year the state increased health benefits somewhere in the 22% range. We're in the HIF, it's a health insurance fund, so ours only went up, a minimal amount. So that's really good because that would have been a huge increase in this budget if we were at the state health benefits. Our next slide is on the revenues, and you will see as they have increased with the increase in the budget. Our revenues derive mostly from our, the tax base. The shared service is coming in at a very strong second. We utilize surplus, which this year we had about $1.7 million in surplus. That was an incredibly good year for us. Sometimes we're hovering somewhere in the $1 million range. We're utilizing about 1.4. So we actually left about $300,000 in surplus to help fund future year budgets. And then our other miscellaneous revenues, which are actually coming in a lot stronger than they have. When we went through COVID, we had, obviously everyone had concerns about what our revenues, our miscellaneous ones were going to look like. We were concerned about, were people going to be able to pay the taxes, how the court fines looked, construction permits. Well, court fines had dropped off significantly during that time. We're definitely seeing them increase again. Well, we were very fortunate that the taxes remained pretty steady. People were paying their taxes, so that was really not a problem for us. And now we're starting to see them come back up along with the shared services. So financially, I think we're over that hump and we're heading in the right direction. As I mentioned, shared services, you will see the huge increase from the 2023. Some of our shared services are animal control. We do construction, fire, electrical, mechanics, recycling, street sweeping, solid waste, vegetative waste, health services, and 911 dispatch. Most of our shared services, we are the host community for, so we have a lot, I feel we have more control. We do have some that we are using some other municipalities for, some long-term ones like the 911 and the health services with the chronic. They've always worked well for us. But it's good that we're increasing and doing more with the areas that we have always been strong with, construction and DPW especially. For probably 15 years, I've been preaching how, 97% residential, we're not heavy commercial. Like, you're looking at the tax base, and the taxpayers are what's helping this budget every year. And the shared services make such a difference because they are definitely providing the services and helping to offset some of the costs. So it's, to me, it's the direction that we need to go in until some things change. Now, we had the land sale, we're looking at different development, but until all that goes in, this is what has kept things the way they're going, so. Our next slide is on debt management. Now you will see our debt, has gone up. It's how we pay for capital projects. Next year, we are planning another bond sale. We had one a few years ago. We did the debt that was coming due for our short-term notes that needed to be rolled into or paid down. We're going to do that again in 2024. So what happens is when you authorize a project and you authorize debt, we do short-term borrowing. That means we go out and borrow money 1 year at a time. You're allowed to do that up to 10 years. After 10 years, you have to either turn it into permanent financing or pay it off. We have been paying down that debt as it comes up, but we have done a tremendous amount of projects. We're talking road projects, park projects, any type of building that we've done. So while it seems as though this number has increased, I just want to point out a couple of important things. This 2 months ago, we canceled about $438,000 in old ordinances. That's money that was on the books that we had authorized debt that we are not going to borrow. We finished the projects, we don't have to borrow it, so that will come off the debt. We're also looking at, over the last 6 years, we have obtained almost $2.2 million in grants. So that would be DOT grants, CDBG grants, open space grants. Those grants have allowed us to get projects done, but obviously the portion we have to fund, we've had to fund. So as the mayor mentioned earlier, the last couple of years, we've been trying to only borrow and only put into capital larger projects. The idea of the borrowing is you have a project that is going to benefit future taxpayers. So the idea is to split that amount over the next 5, 10, 15 years so that people who are here during that time, future people are paying for that. The idea with the vehicles was we were always rolling everything into debt. And so we really weren't getting that stuff off the books. You want to put long-term projects in debt, but we want to start paying off these short terms. That's where the leasing really has come in and helped. And, as we were talking earlier, when we had looked at the enterprise, it looked like a great program. I know other towns have done it, but it's almost like adding a middleman, especially when you can't get vehicles. So we worked hard to try to basically put our own program in place. And I'm not sure everybody understood through the conversation. It's not a lease, like if I were to go to a car dealership and lease a car, I lease it for a certain amount of years, there's a residual at the end, I have to either buy it out, turn it in, do whatever. These are capital leases. We're making annual payments, so at the end of that lease, it's ours. We're not still having extra money that we have to pay out. There's not even a dollar payout or anything that. It's really just how they do the capital leases. So that's the program we're getting into, and it seems to really be working well. And like Frankie mentioned, the hardest thing has been, the biggest challenge is getting vehicles. Because as you all know, it's just hard to find, especially once like I said, it's not like I'm going out and buying something. I have some leeway, I'll pick whatever I want to pick, whatever's available. We need certain types of equipment, like we need pickup trucks. Everyone needs pickup trucks. So when they come available and we get a phone call and the dealership's like, hey, I have one, this is why we're trying to jump on these, because we've been really struggling to get them, so. Yes, state contract, county co-ops, that's been helpful. As opposed to having there are bigger trucks we're probably gonna have to go out to bid for, but this definitely gets the process going a little faster, so. So, we have done a lot of projects, especially in the flats. I know there's more road projects to be done, but in the past 6 or 7 years, there's been a lot of capital that's been accomplished. A lot of things are done, a lot of things are fixed. So now it's a question of just deciding going forward what other grants you're going to obtain. We have a couple more grants coming in this year, and exactly what other projects you want to get done. There's a lot of things in the hopper. So overall, we saw about an average increase of $20, on the average house in this budget. Frankly, I didn't think that was a terrible number. I thought that was pretty good considering everything that we're doing, everything we're trying to accomplish. There are probably some line items. I'm sure Linda will have some questions, but because you have a lot of change going on this year, a lot of personnel changes, a lot of department changes and stuff. So this budget was also put together with that in mind, like with a lot of things in flux this year, how we're going to manage this year and then move forward. So. Does anyone have any questions?
Anybody from the council? Good?
Yep.
Did you have questions on it?
No.
Oh, okay. You can open it to public. Yeah, you can do your.
We'll do our thing and then we'll.
Yeah.
Open it up.
Mayor, this is a time fixed for the public hearing on the municipal budget and tax resolution for 2023. The budget was approved by the governing body on April 18th, 2023, was advertised as required by law on May 1st, 2023, together with notice of hearing for this time. Mayor, I have the resolution regarding the reading of the budget by title only.
So I offer the foregoing resolution and move for its adoption.
Okay? Okay. Okay. Yep. Adoption of resolution number 2023 5.9. Reading the budget by title. Can we have a motion already?
Second.
All right. John?
And Donna.
Yeah. Okay. Let's put it over here. Do I have a motion on the resolution? From John and Dominic?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah, we gotta do roll call for that. Roll call, please.
Delariva,
Yes.
Rosiano,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Schubert,
Yes.
Yazdi,
Yes.
Catalano,
Yes.
Okay. Okay, before opening this hearing, I wish to outline the procedure. Each person desired to be heard will rise and give his or her name and address before speaking. I will recognize one speaker at a time in order of the rising of their hands, as nearly as I can determine. Address all questions to the chair. Where necessary, they will be referred to the individual member of the governing body or the municipal officials. Questions must be confined solely to the municipal budget before us. School or county matters are not proper subjects for this hearing, cannot be discussed or answered here tonight. I now declare the open public hearing on the 2023 municipal budget. Can I have a motion to open up the public hearing? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Anyone wishing to speak, please come forward.
I thought you were going to ask a question. Mike, I thought you were going to ask a question.
Yes, it is, okay.
Oh, gotta sit down, it's gonna be a long one.
Okay. I just want to confirm, first of all, my understanding, looking at the budget, that the contract with Butler is for $642,500.
The total budget for the new garbage and recycling and everything? Correct, yes.
Under the, this is on page 10, sheet 10, the administration fees, what is that for?
Oh, administration fees are, they are the ones from the shared services. So in our construction shared services, we have administrative fees tied in, and it's directly linked to the permits collected. So therefore, we'll anticipate a number, but it could be more, it could be less. It depends on how Butler and Kinlaw do that year.
Okay, is our shared service, I don't have that yet. Shared services for construction.
Right, so Linda, how their contracts are written, they pay us an amount, and then there's a percentage tied to their permits that are issued during the year. So it's 5% of their permits up to 100,000 and 25% of anything they collect over 100,000. So we will anticipate money, but I don't know how their building is going to go. If they put up a big complex, if they don't do a lot of building, it just depends. So, but that's what those administrative fees are from, Butler and Kinlaw.
That being as it may, if we're saying that the construction fees are going to be similar to what they will realize in 2023, why would not the amount that we realized in cash be the amount that we're going to budget this year?
Because what I'm saying is I don't know what permits they're going to issue. So, there's all that building going on in 23 in Butler. So if we issue a permit for one of those buildings and they pay $20,000 this year, I'm not going to see another $20,000 permit on that building. It just, I mean, Chris can keep me updated, but when they're actually issuing permits, I don't know. So it's literally, if they issue $100,000 worth of permits, we get $5,000. If they issue anything above that, it's 25% or whatever it is. But I truthfully don't know how quickly permits are going to turn over. So we tend to be conservative, and I'll anticipate another $10,000, but I don't know how quickly they're going to issue permits.
I'm sorry, Mayor and Council, but I see that your salaries are going to be going up this year. Are you planning on giving yourself a raise?
At this point, there's been no discussion on it. I know they put it in the budget in case there is. Over the 12 years that
I
I've
know.
been here and you, it's never been increased. If you do a comparison to local municipalities around us, I don't have to tell you, so they put that in the budget in case we decide to do that, but that will be a discussion if it comes up amongst the council for them to make that decision. But at this point, there has been no discussion.
Okay. For the general administration, the salary wages went up,
Correct.
60,000, 50,000?
Correct.
Oh.
We hired a new assistant for the clerk's office and administration, and that's the budget it's in.
Okay.
You're aware this year that we have a tremendous amount of
Yes,
changes.
Yes, I'm very aware.
Yes, so when we went through the budget, structurally, we may just replace some people, but then there's also been discussion about changing people's responsibilities and how we're handling things and stuff. So you're going to see some changes in that budget because truthfully, I'm not sure the direction the council is going to go in, but during the budget discussions, it was if we decide to hire another person for this job, or if we decide to combine that, Bree being out, Terry's getting ready to retire, there were things that changed in the clerk's office with me, with pretty much almost every department in the borough this year. We're going to have some big personnel changes, so you're going to see some movement there. So the council has the ability to decide what direction they want to go in.
But also this side of that is why we're hiring before people are leaving, so we don't skip a beat for our residents. So we have a learning process, the Bloomingdale Learning Way, so they understand, when Terry's lucky enough to retire, all right? And then Amy will come in, we can keep serving the public the way they should be served. So you backfill, and then everything should, after this year, hopefully, mellow out to where we need to be. But we just planned, and it's just smart businesses for
I
us.
would think that the salaries are going to be less than the salaries for the people that have been here, because they've been here for so many years.
Yeah, but you're correct with that. But with saying that, there's other people being here a long time. We still have to go for, stuff we can't control, contract, police contract, DPW contract, automatic, all the increases that everybody else get, we have to plan for that. So that's all, I'm assuming, built into the salary wage increase. There's things we can't control, they're under
Yeah,
contract.
but the ones that I'm talking about right now, like for general administration and finance, they've gone up. Well, finance went down 10,000. And $60,000 for, $50,000 for general administration. So why would there be an increase of 40,000 if you're going to have people coming in that are less experienced than the
They're
people
less
that are leaving?
experienced, but, and
Their
I gotta
salary's
be
gonna be
careful how
less.
I say this, but we still need to do a couple of promotions. I don't want to discuss that here because it has not happened. So you have to plan for that too. What comes with promotions? Increase.
But I don't think I agree with that, but. Now, roads, salaries for police went down 194. Roads and maintenance went down 150. Garbage disposal went down 150. For social security, went up 35. Health insurance up 164. Why is that?
So we shifted some salaries to the shared services. So the salaries may not be in the budget, but they're part of the shared services, so it's still a salary line. So with the shared services, we increase personnel. You're still going to have social security on wages. Obviously, social security goes up with the wages, but that also covers things like outside duty, like any of your trust, anything that we're paying out needs social security with it. So you may not see every salary in a salary line because we do allocate salaries to the shared services. So it's not going to say salaries.
I understand that, but I guess what my question, this is a debate we had years ago, and it was probably the debate of my life. But for social security, I think if it is, you're increasing social security by 35,000, then part of that social security really should be in shared services. It should not be in this.
Right, but I was going to say, we also have some people leaving, and we have buyouts. So that's taxable wages, so that's gonna be
Right.
social security too. So, you know what I mean, like, it has to be in social security. It's really supposed to be a statutory expense, so it's in social security. So we can keep track of social security. If I'm burying that all over the budget, it's very hard to know, am I on track, tying those budgets and stuff and tying the salaries to it. So we try to keep social security in social security. And then we know if we're gonna run short, you know. One year we had an excess of outside duty to the point like well over $100,000. And we had to do a budget transfer that year because it's social security. And while the administrative fee is covered, it's not in the social security line item. So the only way for us to track, you know, where we are on these lines is to try to keep things like that where they should be. Or else, like I said, I can't bury it all over. We'd never know what we're
I'm
spending.
not
So.
asking you to bury anything anyway. But health insurance, why would that go up 164,000? You said the health insurance wasn't going up that much. Is that because of new people coming in?
Well, you have new people and then you have retirees that are eligible for health benefits. There's still some that are. But I said it didn't go up as much. It didn't go up 22% like the state did, but there was still a 3 or 4% increase.
It didn't go from 400,000, what about 100?
Yeah,
Like the state did.
yeah. The state went up exponentially.
Well, as you said, the wages went down. The wages went down for street and roads. The wages went down for garbage and trash removal, both 150 each, that's 300,000. That went down.
The wages went down in the budget,
Right.
but we're offsetting them with the shared
Shared
service.
service.
Correct.
And the police went down, which I was expecting that to go down anyway because of the retirements.
But then there's going to be promotions, so we had to, you
They're
know,
already included, that's what we're already taking care of.
correct, but we'll have some shifting and stuff, yeah.
I think that's it. But one thing I do want to address, which is my biggest concern, that I know you said that the $20 per household average is acceptable. My contention is that since we've entered into this huge shared service agreement with Butler, I don't know why we did that negotiation. We didn't make sure that we covered enough so that our taxes were not going to go up. For our taxes to go up at all with this huge shared service agreement, I think is just inappropriate.
And I can appreciate what you're saying, but it wasn't just, I mean, it's going up $20 with the shared services, but everything, like you said, pension went up, debt goes up, health benefits go up. So overall, the overall budget going up, I mean, it was offset tremendously. Like, had we not had that and had all those other things going up, it would have gone up more than that. So that's like, I understand what you're saying, but $20, considering how much everything else went up and us being able to mitigate that with shared services, to me, is a win, because it could have gone up $50 if we didn't, you know. And that could be everything staying the same. That could be all your staff staying the same, your services staying the same. But those, like I said, debt, pension, health benefits, anything else going up, utilities, I mean, you know, fuel's gone up, everything's gone up. To be able to mitigate that to 20, for me, is not a bad situation to be in. That's my opinion.
The other side of that is, without those shared services, like you said, we had $1.7 million in surplus. And now we're able, in years past, surplus would go really low to keep taxes.
1 year was $5,000.
Right?
I mean,
But now we are starting to build our surplus where you need to be, so you don't panic every year, and you're planning. Next year's budget is starting now because we have something to work with. $300,000 or $350,000, whatever is in there, is a great building block to get to where we got to be for next year's budget.
We also have a lot of other things planned, such a lot of other developments being
We
planned.
do, but-
And there's going to be a lot of fees coming in.
Correct.
And I think to hit the taxpayers again with any kind of an increase, I don't think it's something that should be done. I'm going purely on principle, based that how much money we know we have, what we have in surplus, what we're anticipating happening, which we know is going to happen. We're going to have all these funds coming in. to still increase taxes, I just don't think it's
But you just
appropriate.
take this into account. You're talking about developing all that. That's been a 7-year process. We're not there yet. And
And it wasn't due to the lawsuit. Just want to clear that up. Go
I'm
ahead.
not
No,
even
no.
going there.
But
All right,
I
but
don't,
the other
for me,
side of
I
that
don't know
is-
when it's coming in, yeah.
My way of thinking, and I think just like I kind of do at home, if I don't have that check in my hand, I don't have that money. It's just the way that's just me, and I say that all the time too when I talk to Donna in finance, as long as I've been sitting here. You can anticipate large amounts coming in, but if you anticipate too much and it does not happen, what happens?
I don't think you're anticipating too much to have that $20 increase. I think you could have gone with a 0 increase.
We did last year.
I know, but.
We did last year, and then we did it
And you've got all.
X amount of years before that, too.
You've got the pilot program. It's going to be another couple of pilot programs.
Mhm.
And I just think that it's the taxpayers, the ones that are hurting all the time. And I just don't think it's
Well-
something that should be done.
I appreciate that, but we're all taxpayers.
We the exact same
Yeah.
way.
You don't know.
We worked very, very hard to keep the increases as minimal as possible, and that shared services is one of the ways that we did it. And when I look back historically over the increases over the last 20 years in this town, I don't think there have been many zeros. So I'm confident that's on 0 last year.
In the past 12 years, there's been 3 times, I think, we've been at 0, or we've never been really above the $28 mark.
$28 mark, yeah, so I think that historically, looking back, as someone who has served for our town, thank you for it, I think if you take a look at that effort, you'll find that this increase is in line with everything that we participated with in the past, and we're doing our best to ensure that we have minimal increases moving forward.
Well, I still think there shouldn't be an increase.
And if I could just add, on a shared service, as good as the shared service agreement is, you're supposed to only cover your cost, and you try to reach very far to cover all those costs to make it sort of an overlap where it wins for the borough. But you're not permitted to be a profit center either. And, that's just,
I know,
government's
I
not supposed to. So you
understand that.
can't say, well, if we had just taken more in the shared service, we could have closed the gap. You can't do that either. You have to make it just cover your costs and expenses as far as you could go, so.
Well, I don't know if
There's
you
a
covered
limit.
all the costs, because when I've asked for the information to get what was the shared service amounts that were included, what you determined would be your costs, I was not being permitted to have that information, so therefore I can't say I agree with that or not.
Well, I'm just saying from a budget standpoint, though, you can't ask for more in a shared service agreement just to close your budget and make a profit either. That's the only thing I wanted
But I
to.
don't know if you're making a profit or if you're not. I don't know what you've included in there, so unless you're willing to give me that information, it's still a question I'm going to ask, and still something that I'm going to say I don't think was done properly.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? Okay. Seeing no one, can I have a motion to close? Nobody's, all in favor?
Good.
Okay, so I make a motion that we adopt this budget and to be postponed, actually, right,
Correct.
pending review by the Division of the Local Government Services and the governing body.
So typically, after we have the public hearing, unless there are any changes, we would adopt the same night. But due to some personnel timing, we are going to wait, and we're having a special meeting on the 20th of June to do the final adoption. We did not introduce any amendments tonight. If we do an amendment, it might be $100 or something like that, that we may have to just fix something. But there should be no changes in this between now and adoption time, but, because right now we're in good shape. But like I said, typically we would do both in one night, but, like I said, because of some personnel issues and our clerk being out, we're going to punt on that until June. Okay?
I'll second John's motion.
Okay, can I have a roll call, please? Yeah, a motion and a second was read, and then we have to, yes. Should have
Very nice job, Donna and Jasmine.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jasmine.
That was very nice. And Mike.
And that's one.
Graziano?
Yes.
Hutchins?
Yes.
Schubert?
Yes.
Yazdi?
Yes.
Catalano?
Yes.
Delariva?
Yes.
Okay. Item B. And again, thank you for your work. I appreciate you guys coming out tonight. Everybody go back to your seats. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Okay, item B, second and final reading and public hearing, ordinance number 22-2023, amending chapter recreation fees for cornhole, pickleball, and fencing and trips. Public notice statement, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this ordinance is posted in the municipal building, published in the Herald News, and copies are made available to public for the motion.
Are you sure?
That it be read by title.
Can I have a motion to read by title?
So moved.
Second.
Hudson, Yazdi. All in favor?
Aye.
The ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale, the County of Passaic, the State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 2, Administration, Section 2-64.11, Fees for Recreation Programs, Code of the Borough of Bloomingdale.
Okay. Can I have a motion to open a public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Yazdi Delariva. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak, please come forward. I see no one, a motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Hudson, Yazdi. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion for adoption?
So moved.
Second?
Yeah, Delariva. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Hudson?
Yes.
Schubert?
Yes.
Yazdi?
Yes.
Catalano?
Yes.
Delariva?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
Okay. New business, adoption of resolution number 2023, 5.10, payment of our municipal obligation, payment of the bills. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Catalano. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Schubert?
Yes.
Yazdi?
Yes.
Catalano?
Yes.
Delariva?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
Hudson?
Yes.
Item B, adoption of resolution number 2023, 5.11, authorizing contract with H2M Associates Asset Management Plan. This is simply, who was the other company? Crew was the other company, got bought out by H2M. Now we just have to put them on the books. This is for our infrastructure to check our lead pipes, if I'm correct, which we have to do, it's mandated. So we're just authorizing H2M to, on the books. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Okay, any comments? If not, roll call, please.
Yazdi?
Yes.
Catalano?
Yes.
Delariva?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
Hudson?
Yes.
Schubert?
Yes.
Item C, adoption of resolution number 2023, 5.12, authorizing professional service agreement with Kyle and McManus for planning services for the master plan. Have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Yes, you got some? Okay, and of course, everybody knows we have to do our master plan, so we're getting that off the ground, and we thank those who are working on it. Can I have a roll call, please?
Catalano?
Yes.
Delariva?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
Hudson?
Yes.
Schubert?
Yes.
Yazdi?
Yes.
Okay, adoption of resolution number 2023, 5.13, purchase of police vehicle from Cranford Cooperative. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Hudson, Yazdi. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Delariva?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
Hudson?
Yes.
Schubert?
Yes.
Yazdi?
Yes.
Catalano?
Yes.
Item E, Adoption of resolution number 2023 5.14, purchase of. Any comments? Roll call.
Graziano?
Yes.
Hudson?
Yes.
Schubert?
Yes.
Yazdi?
Yes.
Catalano?
Yes.
Delariva?
Yes.
Okay. We do have our one non-agenda item, resolution number 2023 5.15. Resolution computing 2023 reserve for uncollected taxes pursuant to the New Jersey SA 4A 4-41C2. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Trustee Delariva? Okay, any comments? Roll call.
Hudson?
Yes.
Schubert?
Yes.
Yazdi?
Yes.
Catalano?
Yes.
Delariva?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
Okay, have a motion to open up late public comment.
Second.
Hudson, Yazdi. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak? Please come up. You're gonna sit this time?
86 Van Dan. I'm just curious, I know that there has been more patrols going around because of this catalytic converter stuff that's going on in town.
Yes.
Has there been any progress? I mean, it's kind of nerve wracking.
I know
My
it's-
camera's set up and everything, but it's, it's just,
All I can tell you is what I've seen. I know there's been investigations. I know they're working on it. I've heard comments, they were in Waterfall the other day with spotlights going through there.
I heard that.
Heavily going to apartment complexes and right now, it's under investigation. That's all I can tell you. I haven't heard any updates from the chief at all regarding that, but I know they're actively pursuing it.
if someone could put on Facebook when this is, they seem to have found somebody, because a lot of people are really upset about this and very concerned, and
Mhm.
rightfully so.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that would
Absolutely.
be helpful for everybody.
We got a discussion with the chief and see how he's, gonna handle it once it's,
Any type of metal cutting, you give a call, please.
But I've got skunks around, so
Yeah, too.
I have to close the windows because of skunks.
so that's all I know. Okay. Anything else?
I'm keeping my big dog not in the cage anymore because he's a big partner.
You're welcome. Have a motion to close late public comment.
So moved.
Second.
Let's see, I see Catalano. All in favor?
Aye.
We do have 3 items in executive session. There will be no business conducted afterwards, 2 matters of personnel, and 1 matter of negotiation. Have a motion to go into executive.
So moved.
Second.
Yeah, she was too late. There's no action being taken. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Our next workshop meeting will be June 13th, and